I'm Hara Allison, and this is Dream Anyway, a podcast for those of us who feel the pull to create, even when the path isn't clear. So wherever you are in your journey, grab a coffee, get comfy, and dream anyway.
Hi, I'm Sherry Jones, Spokane author and High Priestess of Pleasure at Love Spark Sex and Love Coaching.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to ask about the latter, but what are you an author of?
I've had 6 novels published, working on my 7th. They're historical fiction. I've also was co-writer of The Hiker's Guide to Montana's Continental Divide Trail back in 1989. I did that hike. And I also have written, lots and lots and lots of articles for newspapers as a journalist and for marketing agencies and corporations as a tech and cybersecurity shill.
And you just moved back from Paris?
Yeah, I did. I just moved back from Paris at the end of July, early August.
How long were you there?
I was there for 3 years.
And what was that like?
It was a dream every day.
Yeah.
I really loved it every single day. Just to wake up in the morning and know I was there was like a dream come true. Where you go, it's beautiful. So I filled my eyes with beauty everywhere I went, and it made me happy. I was really intrigued to go, especially when a man in my life years ago who had told me it was like walking around inside a jewelry box. And I've thought of that often as I've walked around Paris, and I've tread many miles.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That is a great image. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
And
it's
accurate.
So true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In France, they pay attention to the quality of life and aesthetic as quality of life and art and culture as quality of life. And I think it makes people happier.
So you're back and
I'm High Priestess of Pleasure. I felt called to this work by the goddess herself. I was in my apartment in Paris and I was studying this sacred sexuality class with Leda Martin, who is a really famous sexuality teacher. She sent me an email. She has a mass email. And so about this coaching class, and I saw it and I felt really moved. I pulled toward it, and it was insanely expensive. And I thought, I just got to do this. I have to do it. So I signed up. And a week later, I was a freelance writer at the time. And a week later, my biggest client told me that she had been offered early retirement and was taking it. And they provided 60% of my income. So after that, I had to really scramble for more work. And I thought, this is a clear message from the goddess that I am doing what she wants. She doesn't want me to do this other thing anymore. She wants me to focus my life on helping women to claim their sexual power.
I'm so passionate about this topic as well, because it's so sad actually that we don't know that all bodies deserve pleasure. I think deserve is the right word.
Deserve, it's actually our birthright. I mean, we have bodies. They're full of nerve endings. They're capable of so many wonderful sensations. And to experience these sensations is actually healing and empowering.
Right. I had read the book, Come As You Are. Actually, somebody had recommended it to me after a coffee date because I have such a good sex life with my husband. I was like, I don't need to read that. But thankfully I did. And now I wish it was required reading for everybody. It gave me permission that for some reason was lacking to love my body from head to toe, that nothing is wrong with me unless something's actually wrong with me, like physically, like in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that message.
Yeah. And we don't get that as women very often. Mm-hmm. We're told the opposite. If you're not sexual, there's something wrong with you. If you're too sexy, there's something wrong with you. We can't win, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be helping us with?
I want to make Spokane sexy again.
I love that. I think that might go over well with the right crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I was a little concerned because I know it's tended to be more of a conservative community here, but I think that women, especially who have been conditioned to think that there's something sinful or wrong about being sexual or something wrong with their bodies, or that we should be serving others and not loving ourselves. a lot of the work that I do has to do with that. Starts with self-love
Mm-hmm.
and discovering our own potential. And also, I think that I want to help women learn to empower themselves through sexual pleasure. When you learn to generate energy in your body, which I teach, to generate and move energy through your body, I teach that using tantric practices, which are really fun to do and very empowering. Because a woman's genitals, our womb space, that's the source of our power. We have life-giving power. And men know that. And that's why they've tried to take it away from us by telling us that it's wrong for us to feel anything there or to give ourselves pleasure or to experience it with others. And men, on the other hand, they know their powers in their genitals. I mean, how many men do you know? Like, they know that their dicks are powerful. And they don't want us to know that our pussies are powerful too. I want to help women feel pleasure, to really feel it in ways they've never felt it before. These techniques that I've learned have really worked for me. I can feel pleasure in every cell in my body just by thinking about it. I've counted 7 kinds of orgasm that I've been able to have. And I think that there probably are lots more types of orgasm.
So, for instance, a G-spot, clitoral.
Yes, all cervical orgasm
Okay.
you can achieve, and it's amazing. And there's also full body orgasm, energy orgasm, anal orgasm. And then some people can have throat orgasms. I've not had that one. There's also nipple orgasms, which are incredible too.
Mm.
And you can do blended ones. That's the 7th type where you can use your mind. The mind is so powerful to connect parts of your body when you're moving energy through your body, and you can experience a connected orgasm that connects 2 parts of your body through the same energy channel.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I really feel passionate about working with, especially with women who've been in toxic relationships.
Mm.
I know so many women who feel damaged and their self-esteem has been battered, and they come out of these toxic relationships with men, or some of them are even still in them. And they feel like they've totally lost themselves, lost their lives. And I really know that I can help these women reclaim themselves, rediscover themselves, and even build back better than they were before. I'm putting together a bad boy detox coaching package.
Oh, cute.
Then the package that I'm doing for experiencing maximum pleasure is called Light Yourself Up.
I love that.
Yeah.
I had read a book also after Come As You Are called Pussy a Reclamation. I do love that title. And I just really like that there seems to be a movement for women to understand their sexuality and that there's nothing wrong with this. And so I just really love that. And that's what I want for other women is that, I'm at the heaviest I've been. It doesn't matter. This body is perfect the way it is. And it has all the same ability to have pleasure as it did if I was skinny. Skinny's not the answer.
Yeah, I know. I'm 64 and I put on some pounds. I'm not the skinny mini I used to be. And I don't remember who it was who said, why is it that women try so hard to make ourselves as small as possible?
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, I don't know, in my experience, men really don't care.
No, they do not.
They don't care.
No matter what your desires are, I think that's the thing, because I don't think I have mainstream desires sexually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that book was so helpful, because even though I felt safe, it helped me with the shame of it. Why do I feel this way? And the book kind of showed me that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, actually, that's what a lot of the coaching that I do is about, is helping us to understand and accept those parts of ourselves that do feel shame or guilt or other low frequency emotions. And, so often those are stored in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some women feel numb in their genital area. They can't have orgasm, or they have a hard time achieving orgasm. To be able to go into your body and to get in touch with those blockages or trauma or conditioning. Conditioning means like all the things that our society tells us that even if we think we don't believe it, it still has an effect. So we've been conditioned. And so those kinds of obstacles and barriers to pleasure that can block our energy, block our physical feelings and our emotional liberation, by going in and really getting to know those parts and finding other parts of yourself that are supportive and engaging them in conversation with each other. It plays on the Jungian active imagination exercise and also breath work. That's something I'm really passionate about, is using the power of breath and certain types of breathing to really open up pleasure and other things too. Like it can help you relax. It can help you surrender. Breath work can help you even just get through your day. And it's also really good for cardiovascular, for blood pressure, for all kinds of physical ailments. Just breathing in certain ways. I know so many women who are older, who are in marriages where the man has lost interest or he has lost sexual functioning, partly or completely, or, for whatever reason, maybe the woman is single now. She says, I'm not interested in that anymore. And I think maybe you've never really had good sex. But also, I think that it's really sad because it can be such not only a source of pleasure, our sexuality, but also a source of immense power. It can help us be more confident in our careers. It can help us achieve our dreams and goals in ways that we never thought possible. And then it can also just light up our everyday existence, with vitality and joy. Another thing I want to say is that I found that often men aren't very good lovers. Sorry to say it. And I think a lot of it has to do with not knowing how. Men don't know what women want so often because women don't know what they want. Or if they do, they're too shy, embarrassed, ashamed to say what they want.
Yes, I agree.
And so often we're out of touch with our own bodies. So you were talking about books. Another book that I could recommend is Women's Anatomy of Arousal. That's a great book because it teaches you chapter by chapter things about your anatomy you probably never knew.
Oh, good.
Ways to give yourself pleasure that you might not have even been aware of at all. You practice it by yourself at home. You don't need a partner for that.
Yeah.
Also, Naomi Wolf's book, Vagina, is a really wonderful book too. It's got some pretty disturbing chapters about the effects of sexual assault, rape on women, why that is so damaging to women, to women's power. It's not just like being punched in the face. It's actually damages your nerves and it's hard to recover for a lot of women. But she also has some really great chapters for men, telling men how to give women pleasure. Like, for example, a woman needs about an hour to really warm up. She's not going to have an orgasm, boom, like you can do. It's not foreplay. It's actually the play itself. Yeah. But if your husband or your partner doesn't have desire, there's a lot you can do on your own. And in fact, my Light Yourself Up workshop that I'm putting together will teach women how to be their own best lover. Yeah. And then you learn what you like in doing those practices. And you can tell your guy or your woman, or your gender nonconforming partner, what you like and how you like it. And especially guys, I think, who are so clueless about women because we're all a mystery, even to ourselves. They really want to know.
I can imagine that if you're helping a man help you, they're feeling powerful because they're succeeding.
They want to know. They really want to learn. And I've got little grandkids, and when they accomplish something, they say, I did it. And that's how a guy feels, right? Exactly. I did it. I grew up in a household where my parents took my sister and me from the time we were little kids to pornographic movies.
Oh.
There was a drive-in. We lived in Alamogordo, New Mexico. And there was a drive-in called the Yucca XXX drive-in. And so my dad was really into it. And my mom kind of did what my dad wanted. And she was, I guess, afraid of him. And she was not educated and she had 2 little kids. I asked her when I grew up, why did you take us to those films? And I don't like to call them films, movies. And she said, well, if I hadn't gone with your father, somebody else would have. He would have found someone else to go with him. And I was a little confused because I don't remember there ever doing anything except sitting in the front seat drinking screwdrivers, which is sort of appropriately named drink. Because of those movies, like I had so many sexual fantasies about being in them, like being the one who's raped or being the one who's put on display or, I struggled for many years with, not fantasizing during sex to have an orgasm because I was so trapped in these sexual fantasies. And over time, I came to realize, I don't think three things, I guess. One is that fantasizing is okay and that pretty much everybody does it anyway, even during sex.
Were you shaming yourself about fantasies,
I did.
about other things?
I shamed myself about having the fantasies because I thought, well, this was a form of sexual abuse, even if it was unintentional. My dad just wanted to go and didn't want to hire a babysitter every Saturday night. Didn't feel like he could afford it or whatever. Maybe he wanted us to see the movies. I don't know. But I thought I was perpetuating the abuse, right? Then I also realized that, well, to have an orgasm, I don't really need to do that. There were so many, for a clitoral orgasm, that might be okay, but there were so many other kinds of orgasms that involve simply moving energy through your body and really feeling every cell in your body. And you can have orgasms that way. And then the third thing I realized was that I'm really kind of kinky, but I haven't really practiced it, right? I had one lover who he wasn't really about my pleasure, but I did get a lot of pleasure. And what I discovered about that time with him was that, if he would tie me up or something, I loved it because time just stood still or it passed without my realizing it. And so I was like in a state of suspended animation as I anticipated what was going to happen next. And I never knew what was going to happen next. And I couldn't be in control of what was going to happen next. And it was so exciting. Have you ever heard of Lust Cinema? There's a filmmaker named Erica Lust. And so she makes films and TV series for women. And they're really sexy and hot. And so I subscribed to that for a little while. And I watched a series about a woman who's interviewing for a job or something. And the really hot executive guy behind the table gets her to come over to his place. And turns out he's a dom. And, he has her sign a contract and all that. It's pretty hot. And she goes over to his house. His, of course, is a big mansion. It's like... so stereotypical. But anyway, she goes to his house every weekend from like noon Saturday to noon Sunday or something. And all the sex in that show is for her pleasure. A lot of teasing, a lot of edging, a lot of doing things that bring her pleasure, but making her beg for more. Or she's tied to the St. Andrew's cross and she's like, Sir, please let me come. Sir, please. And it was so hot. And I was like, oh my God, I got to find a guy like this. And so I went on to FetLife and I was reading some of those profiles. And I remember one, like a lot of these guys on FetLife, they wanted like a full-time submissive sex slave. Well, that's not me at all. And I found my boundary though. This one guy wrote, he was looking for a woman to do this, and this. And man the cooler at softball games. And I'm like, that's it. I draw the line.
That's funny. It's funny when we know our boundaries. Thanks for listening. New episodes drop every Thursday.